The PlayStation 5, you say? PlayStation 5 games? What are you talking about, Jimmy? Well, the PS5 is definitely getting some hype rolling for it, even though it won't be out for a little while. There's been a ton of speculation about what games will actually end up being available for it, and a ton of new information. And we're going to go through 10 games that are pretty anticipated to drop on the PlayStation 5. And kicking off our list today is none other than Cyberpunk 2077. Loosely based, and I say loosely, on the tabletop game. It was developed by CD Projekt Red, the team behind the Witcher series. Cyberpunk 2077 is a sci-fi RPG set in the dystopian California city that is supposed to feature a great story, deep RPG elements, and hopefully an experience that lives up to the developer's legacy. Now, the game was originally announced and teased back in 2012, and development didn't enter pre-production until mid-2016, and by early 2019, the team had expanded to over 400 people, making the development staff larger than the one that worked on Witcher 3. CD Projekt Red doesn't want to put a release date on it, but due to the early gameplay we got at E3 last year and the gameplay we're sure to be getting at this year's E3, I'm willing to bet that it's going to be coming pretty early into the PlayStation 5's life cycle. This month's giveaway is for a brand new PlayStation 4 console. All you have to do to enter is like the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, turn on those notifications, and tweet me why you want to win it with your Twitter handle included. Call of Duty and Battlefield. Let's get these obvious ones out of the way. COD and Battlefield are two franchises that are probably never going to die, but they're also two franchises that have been struggling in recent years due to franchise fatigue and a lack of innovation. Well, the launch of the new consoles would be the perfect time for both franchises to really reboot themselves and show that they have what it takes to be the top dog. While we haven't gotten any official confirmation from either EA or Activision what their plans are for the new console gens and their flagship shooter franchises, I'm excited to hear what they're going to bring to the table in order to try to stay on top, because after Black Ops 4 and Battlefield 5, well, I think both publishers know that they are in dire need of not only a revival, but a home run. Destiny 3. The first two Destiny games they've had really weird life cycles, okay? Destiny 1 launched as a total disappointment, but then it got better with time. And then Destiny 2 launched slightly better and quickly became a huge disappointment, and then it got better with time. Much of the previous game's problems have been blamed on the weird dynamic between developers Bungie and publisher Activision. But with Bungie splitting from Activision recently, the third game may be their chance to really show their stuff and prove they have what it takes to be a top-notch developer. After all, Bungie took the Destiny license with them after splitting with Activision, so clearly they have future plans for the series, and I don't see any other roadmap than to Destiny 3 coming out on the PlayStation 5. GTA 6. Alright, I don't think GTA 6 is going to be a PS5 exclusive like some other people do, but the fact that there has actually been a lot of rumors and reports about it over the last year kind of makes me wonder just how soon we will be getting our hands on it. Remember, about a year ago, there was a massive leak about GTA 6 regarding its development and storyboarding, despite the fact that Red Dead 2 wasn't even out yet. And then, remember again, that a leak a few months ago said that Sony bought Take-Two Interactive and was going to make GTA 6 a PS5 exclusive, which I do not believe for 1 second. I guess my point is, usually Rockstar takes years and years to make their games, but with how much we've already been hearing about GTA 6, I'm starting to think that it's coming sooner than we realize. Plus, after the disappointment of Red Dead Online, I'm willing to bet Rockstar has been really starting to push GTA 6 through development so they can get it out quicker. And personally, I would not be surprised in the least bit if GTA 6 ends up coming out within a year of the PlayStation 5's launch. I don't think it's going to be an exclusive, but I just don't think there's any way Rockstar does that. But I do think it's coming sooner than a lot of people think. Untitled Rocksteady Game. Does anybody remember Rocksteady? I'm not talking about Rocksteady and Bebop from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're the people who made the excellent Batman Arkham series, but then they just disappeared after Arkham Knight came out. Why? I don't know. After the release of Arkham Knight and the Arkham VR spin-off game, Rocksteady went through a few business changes, mainly involving their parent studios Warner Brothers and Square Enix. And at the end of it all, Warner Brothers bought all the Square Enix's shares and became the sole owners of Rocksteady. Then, in late 2016, Rocksteady founder Sefton Hill confirmed on Reddit that a new game was in production. However, nothing was revealed or set in stone until just a couple days ago when Mortal Kombat director Ed Boon himself tweeted he was excited for Rocksteady's next masterpiece. Now, some people wrote this off as just developers appreciating each other, but some people think Boon actually knows something that's going on. Regardless of what's true and who knows what or not, we know for a fact that Rocksteady is working on a new game, and I'm willing to bet it's going to be on the PlayStation 5. Elder Scrolls 6. As much as I love Skyrim and Bethesda, I think it's fair to say that the hype for Elder Scrolls 6 has been dwindling following the massive failure of Fallout 76, as well as a few statements that Todd Howard said. According to him, Elder Scrolls 6 is being developed on the same engine as Fallout 76, which really doesn't bode well for the game's quality. I'm really hoping that 76's failure wakes Bethesda up to the reality of the situation, but all that being said, I know there's a tons of people that are hyped for a long-awaited 6th mainline Elder Scrolls game. I mean, it's been almost 8 years now since Skyrim came out. The people need something new. In this age of short, simple, and uninspired AAA games, I think the world needs a good new Elder Scrolls game to get the industry back on track in terms of creativity. Uncharted. Now, no Uncharted game is reportedly in development, but I think we all know that it's coming. I mean, the Uncharted license is too big at this point for Sony to just drop it because the console generation changes. The first Uncharted was released on the PS3 in 2007, and there were 2 sequels in 2009 and 2011 respectively. And the final installment, Uncharted 4, was released for the PS4 in 2016, and then there was a spin-off called The Lost Legacy the next year. Now, when it comes to the future of the series, we do have a few little bits of information to go off of. We obviously know that Sony is going to want to keep the series going for money's sake, but in April of 2019, Nolan North, the voice of Nathan Drake in all 4 Uncharted games, stated he hadn't got any word on a new Uncharted game, but he did state after he did the first game, nobody was really expecting a second one, implying that Naughty Dog kind of plays things by the ear. Now, obviously, Naughty Dog is working on The Last of Us 2 right now, but I'm willing to bet that once production on that game wraps up, a new Uncharted game will be next on the roadmap. SpiderMan II. Speaking of games that aren't confirmed, but we know they're coming, SpiderMan 2 is coming. It's inevitable, especially with the always popular Marvel brand and the eternal popularity of Spidey as a character. The 2008 Spider-Man was a success for Sony, selling 3.3 million units in 3 days with an estimated gross revenue of $200 million in just that time. And as of the recording of this video, the game has sold approximately 9 million units worldwide. And just think of how many more it would have sold if it wasn't restricted to one system. The new Spidey game was developed by Insomniac Games, a team that doesn't really have any other big franchises in their lineup right now. Sure, they made the Resistance games and Ratchet and Clank games, but both of those are kind of on the back burner. My point is, Sony greenlights another Spider-Man game, and I'm 99% sure they will. Insomniac will get to work on it right away and have it ready for the PlayStation 5. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Spider-Man 2 ends up being a PS5 launch title if the console ends up launching in 2020. God of War 2, another unconfirmed sequel that, well, I'm confirming it. You know it's happening. In early 2018, God of War got a fresh makeover, converting it from an over-the-top hack and slasher to a story-driven third-person game that received critical acclaim and sold over 5 million copies in its first month. Following the success of the reboot, the devs made a few statements regarding their plans for the next part of the story, and the reboot had a pretty lengthy development, but according to series director Cory Barlog, not only does he have plans for 5 potential God of War games, but he also clarified they would not take nearly as long to develop as the 2018 game did due to the fact that much of the 2018 game's development was spent creating the new tech and working on the engine. Now, the tech's done. It's figured out. A new God of War game could be much quicker through development than the first one. As it stands right now, a few outlets are predicting God of War 2 to be released late 2020, which makes sense, gives about 2.5 years in development, and would also line up to be a launch title for the PlayStation 5. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to drop a like on the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel with post notifications on so you always get alerted when a new video goes up and you can get that elusive first comment. And at number 1 today, The Last of Us Part 2. I mean, duh. It's currently confirmed to be launching on the PS4, but I'm willing to put money that it comes out on the PS5 as well. One of two things is going to happen. Either the game is going to launch on both consoles at the same time, or it's going to do what the first game did, where it launches on the current gen system, and then a year or so later, it gets an enhanced port to the next gen. Or maybe both of those scenarios are wrong, and Sony decides to pull a fast one on us and make it a PS5 exclusive, ditching the PS4 entirely. You never know with Sony. But regardless, I think we all know that The Last of Us Part 2 is going to come to the PS5 in one way or another, and it will sell like freaking hotcakes. And there you have it. Those are the most anticipated PS5 games, even if they're not confirmed games. You guys let me know what games need to launch on the PlayStation 5. I hope you guys enjoyed the list. Drop a like, and I'll see you soon.